What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another live show. It's a preview slash transfer live, the last one of the summer. Finally, I guess. It's because it's been kind of a boring summer for us because nothing really happened, and we kind of expected that, but it's actually worse potentially than we initially could have imagined. Incoming wise, especially because basically it's the same team. Like we have the same team as last season. Basically, that's just the reality of the matter. But it's over. This is the team we have now. Um, I didn't even change all the numbers I can see. I guess on the numbers, I don't even know how many players we have in the squad because it's just finished. And yeah, it's up to Allegri to make it work now with what he has to his disposal and doesn't have in the team as of now. And I think a lot of things are missing in the team now. Me and Julian, our next podcast will drop on Wednesday. It will be the prediction, for the Serie A. The entire league. We will go over everything. So stay tuned for that. That will drop um, on Wednesday, But the idea I had potentially of my top four, top six, whatever, it changed completely in the last, I'm gonna say, 4 to 5 days. It changed completely. I think it's gonna be a close league, for certain positions. But yeah, like I said, no excuses for Allegri. He said we should be competing for the title post Napoli, and he knew good and well what the team was gonna look like in grand scheme of things, because he's not an idiot. So yeah, no excuses. Time to turn the page. No transfer talk anymore. It's been a nightmare. So let's move on to the game week, I guess. I will touch on what kind of happened because I believe we still had some work to do in the transfer window, and we haven't. I think the right wing position is kind of non-existent. It's just Weah. On the right. We just have Timothy Weah, and that's it. Because McKennie is not an option, even though the club might think he is, or he will be played there. He's not an option. I don't include Deschilio. He's an ex-footballer. He's done. Even if he comes back from that injury, he will be injured again, and that's who he has been. So pointless to count him as well. And overall, I think the team didn't get better. It didn't. We added Timothy Weah. Is he gonna offer more than what Quadrado did? Last season. Probably yes, he will. Will Cambiaso add something different? Probably yes, but overall, it's just the same team. It's the same team, and you lost a couple of players. That's basically what the point is. And the right wing position is extremely worrying. It is, but it is what it is, I guess. I don't want to hear like the transfer window ended, and I saw already discussions about January. Like, just please stop it. Let's make it out of September first with the games we have, and then look for October, November, December, and then let's see what happens in January. But as of now, this is a team, and it's not like talent wise. I think there's a lot of talent in the team, but I think composition wise, like the way it's built, is still not optimal, and it's because of our own mistakes, our own decisions, and we have only ourselves to blame. That's as simple as that. But yeah, today nothing happened. Bonucci left official. That's good. He needed to leave. I saw the statement. He talked about, I wanted to say goodbye to everybody differently, but it didn't happen. And I'm like, yeah, that's on you, buddy. And it is what it is. I saw the debate about him being a legend again. Makes me sad that people actually believe he's a legend when you have Del Piero, Buffon, Chiellini in the same category of legends, and someone shoehorn Bonucci in it. That's kind of disrespectful. But he's gone. It was an issue surrounding the club, like that constant talk about he going to his lawyers, emails to the club, and he posting certain things. Like, it was very obvious that he was not part of the plan for a good 2 months now, and He waited till the final day to make it happen, basically. So that's on him, not on the club. So that's gone. Kostic was kind of a topic um, early this morning, and that kind of disappeared really quickly as well. So Kostic is here, and don't be shocked if he plays on Sunday. And don't be shocked if he actually plays quite a lot of games. I think the club was very open to let him go. I think Allegri understood why the club was open to let Kostic go, but he will play Kostic because I think Allegri likes Kostic. So he will play Kostic. And maybe he didn't play him because something was actually cooking behind closed doors, which we don't know about. And that's why he wasn't really playing him. But he will play Kostic, and he will play him quite a lot, in my opinion. So he stayed keen, nothing happened, and that's about it, on final deadline day. And we kind of expected that. That transfer window was kind of done and dusted for a couple of weeks now. But overall, it's not been a good transfer window. Like, we need to be completely honest here. I saw journalists praising what we have done, and we lowered the wage bill. I get that, but the team didn't get better, and you gifted a few players. The Kulusevski thing is still baffling. Rovella on a free transfer for 2 years, and then you get peanuts for him is not good business. Zakaria is good business. Credit to them. But overall, like, the selling part hasn't been good as well. And keep in mind, I think people are forgetting it because Chiesa and Junior and Vlahovic are still with the club. They are at the club because of the players themselves and because of offers. Chiesa didn't had a good offer. He wanted to join, so he stayed. Vlahovic wasn't going Chelsea at any point. We were pushing Vlahovic out of the door for Lukaku. The fact that it didn't happen doesn't need to make you think like, oh, it's a good window. The club was pushing and actually was becoming sad, so desperate of getting that deal done that they were lowering the demands for Vlahovic to get Lukaku in. The fact that it didn't happen doesn't mean that that was a plan. The plan was to get Berardi in and spend money long term for Lukaku and Berardi. That was a plan. The fact that it failed is not on the club, it's on the players and the clubs involved, basically. But the club had completely different plans. So you need to keep that in mind. That was the strategy. Getting Berardi in, moving on Lukaku, moving on Vlahovic, potentially moving on Chiesa. And I get the idea behind it financially, but the players coming in was just ridiculous. I don't care that Berardi scored 2 goals for Sassuolo today. Long term, that's not a good move. 29, Lukaku 30, like, that's not the moves these clubs should be doing. This club should be doing. So the fact that it didn't happen, I'm not going to praise them. That these players are still at the club. They're at the club basically because of a technicality, if you want to call it that. So overall, it's been a terrible window. But I've also said it's tough for Giuntoli to come in and do his thing, and I will assess it in 2 years' time. 2 transfer windows with money. And I'm assuming we get Champions League and we have some money in the following season, so on, so on. That includes coaching decisions. It does. Let's say we don't get Champions League, or mid-season we are on trajectory where we are absolutely going, spiraling downwards, and you can see we're not getting Champions League on the trajectory we're going. Him making decision mid-season to switch it up, like, all these things come to mind. But as of now, it's not been a good window. I understand the difficulties, but overall, very disappointing. We need to be completely honest here. You don't need to accept everything and just label it with we have no money, so whatever happens is fine. I don't think that's fair as well. You need to be a bit critical, but it's done. We can talk about it, but it's not going to change anything. The only thing we can change is the results on the pitch, and it starts with Sunday because we play Empoli. We play Empoli. Let me see. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about players soon. We play Empoli. Milan won against Roma today, but we play Empoli, and we have absolutely no room for errors at this point. You kind of used up that thing against Bologna. You need to have a perfect month, in my opinion. Like the positive, and it's actually sad that we need to talk about it, is that Roma and Lazio absolutely look horrible. They look worse than us. Like, they look crap. Period. Especially Roma, they look absolutely disgusting to watch. Like, if you're a Roma fan, you must be crying, because it's terrible. So that's going for us now. The fact that those teams are really poor at this moment in time. But it's not that we are extremely better. I think you saw that against Bologna, and as Anthony's saying, Juve Bologna showed all the same problems this team had last season. Hopefully, Gatti Stolzen for Sandro will talk about that. But January, I kind of agree with Anthony. We still have the same problems. Even if you play well, we cannot keep up with it. And if we don't play well, it's unwatchable, and we get dominated for large parts of the games, against extremely poor sides. And not that Bologna is an extremely poor side, but you can get dominated by Frosinone or Lecce again, like that. I don't think that would shock anyone at this moment in time. So you need to keep all these things in mind going into the Empoli game. That being said, no excuses. You need to go to Empoli. You need to win, and you need to win convincingly going into the international break. Because the international break is kind of terrible. I hate it, especially this early in the season. Like, it's just international break. I don't really care about international football. Injuries, all those things. Like, I care about the club. But going into an international break with 5 points out of 9, that's terrible considering the teams you played. You played relegation / mid-table teams, and even 7 out of 9 points is not that positive. It isn't. But that's the situation we are in now, and there cannot be room for any errors. I watched Empoli, some highlights, and they don't look good. They don't look good at all. I want to say surely we will play better compared to what we did against Empoli, but that's not a given. I think last season we came on and we said, like, surely we'll get better. You cannot do any worse than we did this weekend, and actually we did. But I mean, that Bologna game was draining. After the week we had, like the week before, like after that weekend, basically, everybody was excited. Everybody was a little bit hyped. Everybody had a little bit of hope. Oh, we can do things up top. We can switch it up a little bit. It looks different, and then boom, Bologna at home, and it's just the same as last season. And you're like, what now? Like, what now? And it's up to Allegri now to show us what now, because there needs to be a reaction, and not just result-wise, not scraping a 1-0, like whatever. It needs to be convincing. Like, and you can win 2-0 convincing, dominating, missing chances, or like whatever. But it needs to be convincing when you need to come out of that game being a bit relieved, being like, okay, going into the international break, coming back from the international break, we can do some damage and we can build on this, because September and October, it's not easy. Like Lazio, Atalanta, Sassuolo, Torino, like, it's not going to get easier, It's not going to get easier than Udinese, Bologna, and Empoli as a stretch of game. That should have been a 9 out of 9. It can be a 7. It should be a 7. But again, it's September, whatever, 1st, and the positivity we had on August when we played Udinese is kind of disappeared already for many. But it is what it is, I guess. Interesting to see what Allegri is going to say tomorrow. I think he will have some comments on Kostic, because he will be asked about Kostic, he will be asked about Keane, and he will be asked about that midfield especially, and hopefully he will be asked about that backline, because that backline is still the pain point of this team, because quality wise, ability wise, player for player playing alongside each other it's not looking good. It's not looking good. That's the reality. Lazio will probably get their act together. Roma, however, remind me of Juve. They remind me of a worse Juve. They look even worse than us. But yeah, like I said, it's not going to be very long live because I dropped the video. Please go watch it after one. Like and subscribe as well. But I'm going to record a new video on Allegri's interview he did 2 days ago, but I was not at home. And that will drop tomorrow because he said some very interesting things that need to be discussed, in my opinion. But the lineup for Empoli, and feel free in the chat to let me know who you will start. because it's more fun if we do it like this. Why is it not working? Here we go. Okay, so let's start in goal. I would start Chesney, but he's not fit. So Perin is gonna play. Why is it not working? Okay, here we go. So Perin is gonna play because Chesney's not fit. Going off the latest rumors, Chesney's not fit. So Perin is here to start, and that's fine. You know, I'm okay with Perin. But a bit strange that Chesney's still not fit. But let's hope he's back after international break. Now, I'm not gonna change my opinion. I'm gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it the way I want the lineup because it wouldn't be 3-5-2. Like I'm going off the assumption it's gonna be 3-5-2. I'm just gonna include the players I will play in that 3-5-2. You know, and it's obviously Bremer, but I'm thinking now because I'm gonna slot Gatti in as well. I'm thinking because it's probably gonna be this. You know, it's probably gonna no. It's I don't know if it's gonna be this. I will play Gatti. Like I will say it like that. You know, who has the best midfield in Italy? Excuse me, is it Roma? I will play this like if it's a back three. I wouldn't play a back three obviously, but back three. I'm gonna include the players. I will choose this. Now I was thinking about it today, and I'm like, why? And this could be messing it up completely, which is okay, I guess. Why do we do not try something like this? Oh, that's not okay. Let me get Gatti out of here. And where is Bremer? And Danilo. And this could mess up a lot of things, to be honest. Yeah, I agree that Perin is not good with his feet, and it does. Like Chesney's not amazing, but Chesney's more comfortable on the ball, and it does help. It does help. I'm not gonna lie. And I think that was kind of obvious against Bologna, to be honest. Not sure who you were talking about who the best midfield has. And yes, Ali, that backline going to cost us important points this season. It looks mid-table quality at the moment, and that's being nice. Yeah, it doesn't look good. But I was thinking about it because I want to play Gatti. I want to see Gatti. And I was thinking maybe do this. Will it mess up completely? Could be. Like, will it be worse than what we are playing now? Maybe, maybe not. But in a back three, I'd rather see Bremer on the left. That's just me. And let's try Gatti centrally in the back three. Danilo, whatever. You know, I don't care what Danilo plays. He's going to play. I don't rate him in any position in that back three. So it is what it is, you know, at that point. There's no left foot. They are terrible, all of them. Maybe not Gatti to that extent, but they're not good playing out from the back. None of them. Gatti can carry the ball, but like his ability to pass is not amazing. Bremer has none of that, and Danilo absolutely has none. No ability to actually pass out from the back, you know, consistently. Like you can pull off a pass here and there, but a consistent basis. I don't think any of that can do that. But I like Bremer in a back three. That's fine. But I like him on the left. And I was like, maybe try this one out. You know, that won't work. Left side build up will die off. Well, it was that on against Bologna completely as well. So I think that will not be that much of an issue. You know, it's just I'm thinking about being solid at the back more than actually the build up play at this moment in time. You know, I am because there was no build up play on Sunday. We had Alexandro. He's terrible. He slows down everything completely. He drifts inside just to cut it back every single time. And at times, he carries the ball through Cambiaso or to Chiesa. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous because none of them had passing range. So that's why I'm like, play like that because Bremer is better on the left in a back three. He said it. He said it as well, you know, and he is better in a back three on the left-hand side, you know. And I want to see Gatti playing centrally. Why not? Because the way it's looking now, that back line, it's not looking good. It's not that if we do this, we're like, oh, you're messing it up completely. It's already a mess. Like, it's already not good enough. It's already painful to watch, shaky at times, So, and it's already incomplete completely, completely, because you have players in there, Sandro and Danilo, who are not center backs, They're converted poor fullbacks. That's what they are. So that's just an idea, by the way. Like, I was thinking about it. If Alexandro was a horse, he would. Damn it. Probably. It's so sad how easy I was fooled by the Udinese game. I really thought I could be different, and now I feel stupid. Actually, stupid. No, I don't think you're stupid. I said be kind of excited a little bit, but I also said like it's the first game, and the drop off in the second half was big, But the issue is the drop off completely compared to Bologna. That was a big issue. You're not solving anything. We need a good answer, not just messing around. There is no good answer in the club, period. There is no good answer if you're going to play a back three. Like, it's as simple as that. If we are going to play a back three, you can mix it up. You can play Bremer at the back, essentially. You can play Gatti. Overall, there is no solution. There is no solution. There is no solution. And you cannot mess it up even more. Like, I don't agree with that, The issue, you want to solve the issue, move to a back four and play two centralies. Or, you know what, Huijsen, you go out there and let's see what will happen. Because somebody who can actually defend and is actually good with his feet as well, That's a solution. Or in January, you tell players to leave and you bring in center backs. Like, that's the real solution. But we cannot do that now. Unless Allegri wakes up tomorrow and he's like, yeah, Huijsen, you're up. But I think that chance is even slimmer than whatever. That's not going to happen. We know that's not going to happen. But if it's in a back three, there is no solution. The only solution is to find a different solution, basically. And maybe this will work, or maybe something else will work. But overall, the quality is what it is. The players, they are who they are at this point. Point being, keep Alexandro out of that team. It's ridiculous that Alexandro is playing in 2023. He is a starter in a Juve team. I cannot believe I'm saying this, that Alexandro is still playing. He's still at the club, but he's actually playing. That's unbelievable. I don't have words for him. I actually don't, because he's been poor for years and he's been not even good this season, and especially against Bologna. So, wow. Will he play? Will anybody be shocked? No, but Gatti needs to be in that lineup. He deserves that. Especially with Danilo, we are limited to a 3-man defense. Yeah, like Danilo's a captain, so that's the idea. But if you have a serious coach, you don't care about that. Again, that's what I said all last season. We are accommodating players that should not be accommodated. Or they should be accommodated by sitting on the bench or leaving the club. You need to play up to the strengths of your most talented players. Players here with a future. Alexandro and Danilo, they don't have a long-term future. They shouldn't. Alexandro should have already been gone, and Danilo should have been a bench player. But he's the captain now, so he will play, and it will be in a back three, because he cannot play as a fullback, because we all have seen that. Even last season, like that Roma spell, it was sad. Like, at one point, I felt really bad for Danilo in that Roma game. I was like, just help him out, because this is looking like a Sunday league type of game where we have an absolutely fast player on a very chubby left back or whatever, and he just passes it, like he skips past him completely. I think everybody played Sunday league. Everybody knows that. That's how it looked at Roma. So it's only back three for Danilo, or is the bench, and you can kind of guess what the answer will be for Allegri. So that's that. Danilo as a captain makes sense in my opinion. Tekperin would have been better, but Danilo isn't the worst. He's also not the best. Like, it's just captain by default, But it's being pushed so much that it's like, oh my god, he's the captain, and it's complete bullshit. I have no issue that he's the captain out of all the players in the squad. I have an issue the way it's being pushed, that he's one of the best captains at the club, and it's like, oh my god, he's key to the club. And I'm like, bullshit, man. Like, you're not a good player. Like, I don't care if you say the good things on the field. You don't lead by example, because you're not a very good player. You're a fullback playing in a back three because you're absolutely not good enough to play in your position. And by doing that, you You have Bremer playing out of position. You have us struggling. You have us playing in a type of formation that we should not be playing, because then you have players like Junior, not being able to do their thing. Chiesa now, according to Allegri, needs to be in attack. Like, all these things are domino effects, and it starts with the issues at the back. Yeah. So that's that. Let's move on. Let's move on to what was I saying? The midfield, excuse me. Also, like the video, everybody who's watching. I'm so confused. Locatelli. Yeah, it's not Pogba. That's not good. It's Locatelli. Locatelli as a DM, because we have no other options. We play a back three. As of now, it's Locatelli, and he just needs to soak it up and just improve at this point, because that's one of those things as well, like why the transfer market isn't a hit. You had a DM, you moved him on for free, and you get peanuts in 2 years' time in Rovella, and now you're playing Locatelli in there. And since game one, there are already rumors from decent sources that Allegri wants to find a solution for that DM position. And I'm like, you had it, and now here we are. You're kind of ruining Locatelli. All that while we are struggling in midfield because he's not doing a good job. I don't like when Locatelli plays sideways. I don't think he's good at it. I think he's better moving vertically with the ball, without the ball, because he does the basic stuff completely wrong. He does. And he's very rash at times, and it's just not working out as of now. But we have no other options, so it's Locatelli. Excuse me. So it's Locatelli in that DM position, and we just need to deal with it at this point. Now let's move on to, and I've thought about this so much as well. It's gonna be this. He's gonna play. Rabiot's gonna play, and he's gonna play in that left position, and probably Fagioli is gonna play. Probably Fagioli is gonna start. But I don't start Fagioli. I start Miretti, because I've seen Fagioli play against Udinese, and I've seen him play against Bologna. We all seen him play, and he doesn't look fit. Yes, you need to get game time, but I think the off season, the international break, will do wonders. 2 weeks of just training and get up to speed. I think Miretti should start. Now the issue is, and I will let me make the entire lineup, because then it will make more sense what I'm gonna say, or like what I'm trying to say. Let me finish it up really quickly. And then it's no. And Chiesa. So here we go. Now, what I was trying to say is, I will start Miretti, but my thing is that, you know what? That link-up play, especially on the left, was so key, because against Udinese, even in preseason, everything was kind of concentrated on the left-hand side. It was. Like, on the left-hand side, we kind of dominated, or like the most of our attacking ideas, impulses, whatever you want to call it, was on that left-hand side. Preseason, Udinese, and the common factor in those movements on the left was Miretti being involved most of the time, But with Rabiot in that team, we saw that, like, Rabiot is not Miretti, like, movement-wise. Like, they're not the same guys. They're not the same type of players. Rabiot is one of those guys who loves to come into the ball to receive it. He will only make those runs, and that's in the box. But that's when a cross comes in or whatever, overlap. He does that. But like playing between the lines, linking up play, that's not Rabiot. That was all Miretti, Cambiaso, and Chiesa. Preseason and against Udinese. Now, it's not going to happen but somehow he needs to be moved over here. I have no idea how that's gonna work. If Rabiot is gonna play, because Rabiot, he's not gonna play here. He's just not gonna play him there. Allegri's not gonna play him there. Now, does there need to be something fluid? You know, when we are in possession, that Miretti can drift inside and Rabiot, or Locatelli can move a little bit. I don't know what the idea could be, but I thought Miretti, and especially the movement on the left-hand side, was what made the difference in those preseason games and against Udinese. I would start Miretti, on the right, whatever, because Rabiot was going to play on the left. But I think that movement that he has, and even for Jordi, maybe potentially long term, Rabiot doesn't have that. He doesn't have that. And Rabiot as a DM, no. No. Defense 3, I would be like, fine, I guess. But his passing range is very basic. Like, it's very basic. I don't want to see that. Like, that would be a great solution. Like, if it works out, that would be great, because that will free up so much, in this team, moving forward, literally forward. But I don't think that's an option. I think that's what it's gonna be. No, what I would do, I think Fagioli will start. I think Alexandro will start, basically. But yeah, that's just my thoughts on that lineup, potential lineup. Now the Weah thing is kind of interesting, because as of now, I don't think he really kicked into gear, and it's not just on him solely. Locatelli as a center back. What? Locatelli wasn't playing as a center back much. I know. You mean DM? Or what are you trying to say? I'm not sure. But the link-up play, like possession-wise, I think Miretti is key. Or anyone who has some sort of skill set on the left-hand side is key. Like all season, even preseason when Rabiot wasn't in that team at all, it was all on the left-hand side, and every time the same players were involved, because technically they are better, and they understood each other, and it looked good. It looked great at times, It's important to have movement without possession, but even with possession, it's what you do with it. Like Rabiot will keep it simple and basic, and I think the other three will do something different, as they have shown. But it's not going to be like that, by the way. It's just going to be the same thing, It's going to be Fagioli over here, and it's going to be Bremer here, and it's going to be Alexandro here, and this is going to be Fagioli, and that's not going to happen. That's just what I think will happen. I don't think he will make much changes before the international break. But again, it should be enough in general. It should be enough to beat Empoli. Like, even if it's Fagioli and Alexandro, you should be beating Empoli. Like you should have beaten Bologna last week. There should be no issues at all. As you can see, I need to update it because I see Sule and Kayo still in it. We'll do that during the international break. But yeah, prediction wise, let me know in the chat what you think. I'm going 2-0. I'm gonna say we're gonna win 2-0. I'm gonna say Vlahovic will get a goal, and Rabiot will get a goal. I read Pogba's injured. Where? Did I miss something? Where have you read that? Because I've not seen that. Is he injured? I've not seen it. So let me know if you have a source about that. I've not seen anything about Pogba being injured, so let me know where that source is coming from, because that's not been reported. Actually, the reports are that he's doing absolutely fine, and that he's almost ready to play full games after the international break. That's what the reporting has been, which I think is kind of a stretch, but that's actually what the reporting has been. So I'm going 2-0. I'm going Vlahovic and Rabiot to score goals. We need to win. We need to keep it clean, convincing, and go into the international break with no injuries, come back out of it, obviously, with no injuries as well. but at least make it 7 out of 9 points, because September/October-ish, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough, and we need to be ready, because every other club is gonna play Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and we not. We need to make the difference now. Um, Jesus Christ, what the hell is that for a source? Sport Kita failed the medical test. Yeah, that's not a source. You don't need to believe anything that's on Twitter. Like that those are not sources. Those are not that's not news. He said no to Saudi money, and he's gonna do a medical at Galatasaray. You know how ridiculous that sounds? Like, it's actually embarrassing. That's that news is actually out there. But that's my prediction. So 2-0, and yeah, go into the international break with some good feelings, I guess. Because if you don't win, it's gonna be um, a depressing international break, on the channel as well. Hopefully that will not be the case. During the international break, excuse me, we will do a podcast for a prediction. Also, we will have a scout on, or like somebody who actually has done that for a living as well, and we will go over the new signings we have for the youngsters, the players already into the team, because that's key. Like, we have a lot of youngsters in the team, and we need to build on that, basically, because that's our only hope. That's a way, kind of our way. The break is 2 weeks, so after the Empoli game, 2 weeks. But the team is built to move forward in a good direction. If you look at it, you have players like Miletti, Fagioli, Junior, not Gatti, Hoysen, like Yildiz. You have a good base crop of youngsters, and potentially others coming through. You have good players around it. Chiesa, Vlahovic. You have Bremer. I think the goalkeeping situation is good. Like, there are good pieces. It's just, it's not complete yet. We know that. But the idea behind what we're trying to do, that needs to change, because that's the biggest issue. Because that team is good enough to cruise to top four without an issue. Like, let's be completely honest. That team is has more than enough quality to just make it in the top four without any problems. Considering you play one freaking game a week, and the others you're competing with play Wednesday, Thursday, and potentially even the international break. Inter will make it out of the group. Milan will make it out of the group. Lazio probably not, because they're Lazio. Who's that? Who else? Napoli will make it out of the group. Fiorentina will do as well. Roma will do. So they will also play 2 times a week, even in February/March. There are absolutely no excuses for not making it a good enough season to build on going into the next season. We can be top four. Maybe it needs to be a must. It needs to be a must. But what I was saying, I'm going to wrap it up. Podcast prediction next week. Podcast with a scout the following week. During international break, we will do some different stuff as well. So stay tuned for that as well. Like this one, go check my daily. If you haven't, like that as well. And tomorrow I will drop a video on Allegri's interview, excuse me, because he had some very interesting things to say. And weirdly enough, I agree with a lot of things he said. So stay tuned for that. I will be back live Monday, but I will be back on Sunday for a match reaction, and Monday midday for the player ratings, as always. So yeah, thanks everybody for watching on a Friday evening. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys back on